Say, you're a freshman, right?
Yeah.
Well, so tell me, man, how's this year's crop of freshman chicks looking?
What, you're gonna end up in jail sometime really soon, I know that. Fact.
No, man.
Yeah.
No, man, I tell you.
Yeah.
That's what I love about these high school girls, man. I get older, they stay the same age.
Yes, they do. Go.
Yes, they do.
Welcome to another episode of the Back to the Past podcast. This is Kevin Harvell, joined by
Brad Whiteside.
and
Justin Dutchin.
And on this episode, we're going to be wrapping up our three-part trilogy relating to school memories with high school time.
Not the musical.
Right, yeah, no high school musical talk here. No, you are in the wrong
Three-part trilogy.
place.
Is this a special edition? Is this the recut?
Right, the director's cut, editor's cut,
It's
whatever.
the Back to the Past podcast cut.
Yeah, that's it. And if you have checked out our previous episodes, we discussed our elementary school years and memories, and then we followed that up with another episode focusing on our middle school years and memories. Ooh. A lot of memory lane walking on those episodes. And on this one, as we were doing some research, just kind of like going back over things in my mind, yeah, it's not like I was like into drugs or anything, but I don't really remember a whole lot of stuff from my like high school years. I mean, and there's some faint memories and just like regular things that I would do, but maybe things will like jostle my memory as we're talking through things. But I didn't really put a lot of stuff in my notes. It's just weird.
Yeah, I noticed it was a little bare.
Yeah, I've got
Little light.
3 lines.
Yeah.
Which is funny because your elementary school is far
Right.
greater.
It's like,
Yeah.
how does that happen? I don't know. Maybe I just enjoyed being a little kid, not an older kid. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have to admit that
Yeah.
you got something there.
Yeah. Yeah, but we'll see. Obviously, you know, I think the three of us grew up where as soon as you turned 16, you wanted your driver's license.
Oh my God, did I?
Things are a little bit different these days. Sometimes kids don't
Right.
get them until their early 20s, and I don't understand that.
Yeah, I
Don't get it.
because back then, I mean, it was all about
That was freedom.
it was freedom, cruising, hanging out on the weekends, and just
Yeah.
going where you want to go, hanging out with who you want to hang out
Yeah.
with.
You wanted
Leaving when you want to leave.
Yeah,
You wanted a job, and therefore to pay for the gas, you
Yep.
kind of had to have a car to get to the
And
job.
insurance.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so those are some of the things that we're going to be talking about, including first jobs, first dates, things like that, just other stuff from our high school formative years.
So I mean, I'm strangely curious. What were your guys' first jobs?
My first job, well, okay. So my first before turning 16.
Because I was going to say,
Right.
Yeah, I'll give one and the other as
There's
well.
like your first job, and then there's your first legit job.
Yeah.
First quote unquote job. I did some umpiring for Corey League baseball, stuff like that.
Okay.
Got to umpire a game for my freshman English teacher. He was the coach of this Corey League team. Whew, that was interesting. Because obviously he knew me and didn't like some of my calls, and especially against his son. Like about a month or so later, it was that same summer, he passed away from a heart attack. So I had nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with my calls.
Well, we did learn about how kind of mean-spirited you were apparently in 8th grade.
Oh,
So
stop.
maybe maybe there's a correlation
There's
there.
no,
No?
none of that. No, it was pretty good. Yeah. So that was my first kind of job. And then before I turned 16 again, some family friends of ours, she was in charge of running like the Santa Claus display thing at one of our local malls, which is now no longer there. But this mall, Crestwood Plaza in the Sunset Hills, Crestwood area, is probably going to be referenced quite a few times by me during this episode.
Yeah.
Now that I'm like, ooh, memory starting to churn and stuff. Yeah, so I did not dress up as an elf. No, so get that picture out of your mind. There was no elf costume. I did have to wear nice black pants, white button-up shirt, and a little like bow tie kind of thing, or a little
Black
tie.
bow tie.
No, it was red.
Okay.
I think it could have been black. There's a good chance it was black. I don't really remember. But I was like taking the pictures.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't really have to deal with the little kids or nothing like that. That was for the assistants.
Things are starting to make more sense now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably good I didn't have to deal with the little kids that time.
I meant the picture taking,
Oh, yeah. Well, okay.
working with cameras.
Yeah.
But now that you mention it,
But
Right. Yeah, so, you would take the pictures. The picture would get spit out pretty much instantly because it was just basically like a Polaroid kind of thing. And there'd be two. You had to put them in this thing, and you had to cut them, and then you put them in the little thing, and here you go.
go take that to grandma.
Right. And whenever I would get paid, I don't remember if I got checks or if I was just getting paid straight cash, but I would then go down to the baseball card store. And so this is in 1990 or 1991, and I just blew it all on baseball cards.
Nice.
Not saving a damn bit of money for anything.
good job.
Kind of like what I do today.
I was going to say I'm not too far from that.
Right. So, yeah, wasting it on 1990 baseball cards, which have no value
Yeah, that's part of that
whatsoever.
dead period.
It was.
Yeah.
That's when I had money. That sucked.
That late 80s, early 90s. That, not a good era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you were 89 Upper Deck. That was about it.
Yeah.
Top Stadium Club was nice. Beautiful cards.
Oh yeah,
Premium.
they're nice. They just a lot of them don't
Nope.
have the value.
Nope. They definitely don't. Then my first real job was at McDonald's. Working in the back, in the grill area.
So I did work at McDonald's, but it wasn't one of my first. So I'll just preface that.
Did you, during your interview, when they asked what you can bring to the company, did you respond, I can bring more people to McDonald's?
No, did you?
Yeah. That was during a phone interview. And I was like, that was the stupidest thing you could say. McDonald's is going to bring people to it no matter what. It's McDonald's.
It worked.
Yeah,
Apparently.
that's right. Went from billions and billions to more billions and more billions. Right.
What about you, Justin?
Yeah.
What were
about you?
did you have a job before 16?
I don't remember if it was before or after, but it was right around the time I turned 16. But it was my first actual job, and I was a busser in a restaurant.
Okay. What kind
Dough
of restaurant?
hacks.
Dough hacks. Okay.
Yeah, so family traditional sit down, and I was the busser from 16, I guess I was a sophomore, all the way through my senior year. I did take a break in there where I unceremoniously kind of quit,
Mm-hmm.
but I went back a few months later.
Yeah. But
But yeah, I did that and got to know quite a few of those people very well, and I definitely have some odd stories of that place.
I can
We had
imagine.
a mushroom growing in the dining room in the corner
Oh,
for a while. Yeah.
A mushroom in the dining room.
Yeah. It was on the other side of the wall of the dishwasher, so that probably would explain it.
Yeah, a little moisture going on there.
Yeah, but it was right next to a hotel,
Mm-hmm.
which back then was
Holiday
Inn.
Inn.
And
It had a really nice indoor pool
yes.
that you could swim outside.
Mm-hmm.
If you go underneath the little garage door, that kind of garage doorish kind of thing.
oh, that's cool.
And our place actually did the room service for the hotel. So if anyone ordered room service, they're actually calling us, and then I was the one who had to take it over.
You were a delivery boy.
Yes.
Oh,
So I got my own tips for going over there, but I hated to go over there because I never knew where I was going. And
or who you were serving?
yes,
Right.
and nobody packed up the food. Like I didn't just have to take it; I had to pack it all up.
Oh no.
But nobody ever showed me how to do it or where the supplies were to do it. So I just kind of half-assed it the best I could, and it was pretty bad usually. But I remember one time in particular, that this is my one story of the restaurant. There was a guy who would order room service 3 times a day for a couple of weeks. And the reason he did it was because his house got flooded or whatever, and the insurance was putting him up in the hotel.
Not bad, I guess.
But he never tipped for anything. Since he wasn't paying for it, he wasn't going to tip for it.
Wow.
So, and he was this big, ugly, fat, old man with an oxygen machine who wore tidy whities and like wife beater shirts.
How do you know that?
Because I deliver to him, and he would open the door, and I would go in, and there he is in his glory. And he would just say, put it on the table, sign it, and then, okay, that's it, and I leave. Well, one day in particular, I go over there, and it was 3 meals, which I thought was odd. And I show up, it's because he had 2 other people with him, and they all ordered. Okay, fine.
Cool.
So the door was open. They said, oh, just come on in. So I kicked the door open. The door flew open and then came back and then hit the tray as I was walking in. And I nearly spilled it all. I saved everything, but I think 2 of the sodas. So I had to go back and get new ones and bring them back over.
Yeah.
And as I was walking out, after having delivered the sodas, the younger guy who was in there was outside on the phone, and he says, hey, hang on a second. Gets off the phone, and he says, I have a question for you. I said, yeah. He said, has he been tipping at all whenever you... And I said, no. Actually, he has not. And he said, I'm really sorry about that. Here. And he reaches in his pocket and pulls out, I think, like $80. And so I got $80 in cash, and I was the main one who'd been delivering it for 2 weeks. I wasn't the only one.
Right.
But hell yeah, I'm going to take your $80 in cash. That's fantastic.
So he was wearing clothes?
The younger guy?
Any of the ones in the 3 this time.
The 2 younger people were kind of like in a business casual, so I wonder if they possibly were with the insurance people. Or I thought they were relatives at the time, but later on I thought maybe they were insurance. But he always had the tidy whities and the wife beater shirt and an oxygen tank. And he had the heat cranked up to about 85. I remember that too.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, if you're wearing that little clothing, it
Yes.
gets warm in there. Or, yeah, it gets cool.
Yeah, I hated doing those, even though I got a little cash for it. I hated it.
Any nice stories of making the deliveries?
Oh, I remember one that they clearly had just finished fornicating. The guy, I heard a scuffle inside, and then the door opens, and the guy has on jeans, and that's it. And the jeans were not buttoned or zipped. And there was a lady with no clothes on in the bed. She was covered for the most part, and they're like, oh yeah, just put it on the bed or on the table. I'm like, okay, so I'll go over, put it on the table, and I turn around and I see the lady just laying there with a smile, and I'm just, oh, hello.
You didn't realize she was there?
I had no idea she was there till I turned around and, oh, there's a lady in the bed here.
Was she pretty?
She was gorgeous.
Okay.
She was gorgeous.
I mean, I know the area you're talking about. I'm just kind of curious. 'Cause I know that can go
it was
Either way.
very.
Oh yeah, it's not one of my happiest of jobs, but certainly not the worst.
So did you have to share the tips with anybody you worked with?
If you deliveries, no. If you're doing inside,
Yes.
yes. Well, the way it worked was the waitresses would get the tips, and then they would have to give a percentage to the bussers, and each one would there's something they did on the computer, and it would tell you what percentage, and they would take that amount of money out and put it in an envelope, and then the bussers would split it based on the number of hours per day, and if you were by yourself, you got all of it.
Yeah, I would just with that $80 tip, I definitely would have been no tips today.
Well,
because they didn't expect anything from
Right.
me.
Yeah, what are they going to do? Pat you down?
Oh no! if you as the busser got a tip from a customer, it was yours. It didn't matter if it was delivery or in the restaurant. But if the waitress got the tips, then they would have to give you a percentage of it. Now,
I know
if we're talking about what's fair and what isn't fair, keep in mind the waitresses got a hell of a lot more cash than we did.
right. Yeah.
Sure.
We got paid about $1.10, $1.15 more than they did by the hour, but they got way more
fatter
of the cash.
tips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there were some Mondays, I remember we got so little business. I'd walk out there with $10 on the night.
Oof.
$10 in 5 hours. That's some good.
So because you were doing all those things, did you get paid minimum wage or no?
We got paid either $3.10 or $3.15 an hour, and then if the percentage of tips that you were allotted for the night didn't equal out minimum wage, then they would they would cover the difference. So at least you're getting minimum wage, but
I still don't like that.
oh no,
Yeah.
it sucks.
I think that still goes on to this day.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I
it
do
does.
not
Oh, yeah.
know how that
It
is
does.
legal.
And the crazier thing is, I wasn't just bussing tables. Like, my job was do all the things that nobody else wants to do. So at the end of the night, I was the one who was vacuuming and mopping and sweeping,
Bathroom cleaning.
bathroom cleaning, break room cleaning. We were attached to Cisco's, which was the bar side, which was the same owner, but technically separate business. I had to clean their bathrooms. One night they had a fight over there, and it was my job to go in there and clean the bathroom, and there's blood splatter all over the bathroom.
Ugh.
Yeah, that was about the time I really was rethinking, like, what am I doing here?
Yeah, minimum wage when I started at McDonald's was $4.25.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it was $5.15 whenever I started.
Yeah.
When I started, it was $6.15. But Hardee's, which was my first real job, I'll get back to that. Before that, I went to my dad's employer one summer. And they had a bunch of odd-ended jobs that they wanted me to do.
Like
So-
making copies.
Like,
bread,
hey,
making a copy.
sort these brick samples into specific piles, and once you get them sorted, we're gonna make these hooks that you can hang them up. And that way, once we get all these samples filled out, we can just walk in the room and know exactly where it's at. I'm like, oh, okay, here we go.
Yep, let's do it.
So for a couple weeks, I did that. It was a project that wasn't going to take long, but it was something that they could pay a kid, under the table.
Just
and
busy time that
But yeah.
people could be doing something more important.
And this was right when I got my braces. So like one day we went out for pizza and I wanted to eat it so bad, but I couldn't because they just tightened my brackets. That goes back to the last episode.
Right.
But when I actually turned 16, Hardee's was reopening for the first time in years in our town of Waterloo. And I was part of the team that was hired on to open the store.
Wow. Look at
So
you.
that was my first job. And during the week, I was like a line cook kind of dude. And during the weekend, I was the guy that made the biscuits.
Ooh, biscuit
So I was
boy.
biscuit boy.
I used to love their biscuits.
I do too, because I know where they come from.
Right.
How I can't speak for the rest of the restaurants that they don't make biscuits. I will tell you that they pull them out of plastic.
Right, that's
and I'm
what
referring
McDonald's
to
were.
McDonald's
Yeah.
because I did work there after Hardee's.
Yeah, big difference.
Very. So Hardee's, a lot of things that we went through, we would actually take whole heads of cabbage, yank out the core and, take the leaves apart, keep the good ones, throw out the bad ones. Tomatoes, there was like a slicer. We'd run it through the slicer. I know when I worked at McDonald's, you just pull out the plastic tub, pull the plastic lid off, boom, tomatoes. They're already pre-sliced.
No, our tomatoes weren't. We had to slice our own tomatoes when I worked at McDonald's.
Right.
Something tells me that's changed.
Roughly 10 to 15 years later.
Yeah, I mean, this was in 92 when I'm
Right.
doing mine.
So, and when I'm doing it, it's like 2000 to 2003.
Yeah.
2004, or somewhere around there.
Process
I guess it was
has changed.
2004. But anyway, so yeah, worked Hardee's. That was my first job. I did enjoy doing the biscuits, actually, because that was my main thing that I did. And I learned very quickly, well, if I do one batch of biscuits, then I could just turn around and do another batch and keep them in the cooler. So when they order them, they're already pre-made and ready to go. And then I can help out everywhere else. So I kind of was almost doing double duty. I like to stay busy.
I know firsthand. I've seen you in action.
So then I'd have that done, and I could go clean my dishes from before as they're going out and kind of just gauge upon the day, whether it was Saturday or Sunday, how much I needed to make.
Yeah.
It always seemed like, I want to say Saturday morning was always busier than Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's always going out doing whatever.
Yeah, and then there's, on Sundays there's church and all that.
Now, I do remember specifically the cinnamon raisin biscuits or whatever, those were not handmade. Those were out of a package.
Brought in, yeah.
Yeah. But we did do this fun thing, and I don't remember if they still have these, but they have the hand-dipped ice cream cone thing, or hand-scooped, rather. And you'd scoop it out of the thing, and you put it on the cone, and hey, hand-scooped ice cream.
Yep.
Well, we'd take vanilla ice cream, put it in a cup, take one of their apple turnover pie things, put it in the cup, and we'd blend it.
Ooh.
Amazing. And I wish to God there was a way that we could have shared that with corporate, because it was phenomenal. It was like drinking an apple pie shake.
It sounds like it would be pretty good.
It was very good.
I mean, I used to like our McDonald's apple and cherry pies. I always thought they were good.
I was never a big fan of cherry-filled anything, but I like cherries on their own.
That's interesting.
I like cherries in Manhattans,
Yes.
but I don't care much for cherry pie.
Yes.
That's
That's
different
a
kinds of
perfect
cherries,
example.
really.
Yes.
For one thing.
It is,
Yes.
But I mean, in general, the cherry flavor,
Yeah.
like lollipops or ice cream, it's generally my least favorite.
Yep. Same.
Okay.
And unless we're talking soda.
Yeah, that's
Then
different.
it's high priority.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So when working at McDonald's, or Hardee's, did you like grab a chicken nugget from time to time?
Oh, very many times. In fact, we were explicitly told not to. And that was an open invitation to do that.
Right.
Because at that age, I discovered quickly I did not like being told what to do.
Ooh.
And that's when the rebellion and working in the gray area started to happen. And I pushed boundaries more than I probably should have.
Fair enough.
But here's what would happen, right? Hey, there's make chicken strips, and then they sit under the little lamp and they keep warm, make some bacon, same thing.
Yeah.
And you put the little number on it, and once the little minute hand reaches that number, they go thrown out.
Yep. It's like,
I'm
why
not
are
going
we?
to throw out a good chicken strip or pieces of bacon. I'm just going to make a fucking sandwich.
Right.
Like, come on. We're throwing away food you told me to make, the manager. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not throwing that away. I am going to go eat that. So there was only one time that I made food for myself that they made me pay for. And it was just because they were having a bad day, basically. I made it was the grilled chicken sandwich, but I put the Swiss cheese from the mushroom and Swiss, and I put the mushroom gravy and the mushrooms on it, and then I stacked it with bacon. Whew, that was good.
So that's the thing, whenever you're working back there and it was time for your lunch, you could make essentially whatever you wanted. You could make the sandwich the way you wanted it, not how it's coming on the menu.
Yeah.
And you could really whip up some pretty kick-ass sandwiches.
And, I mean, this was, when Hardee's was real big in the charbroiled burger, all the fresh ingredients, like they were reinventing themselves.
Right.
So it was kind of a good time to work there. Yeah. And they had, I swear to you, they had the best fries in fast food at the time.
Oh, yeah, the curly fries, seasoned fries.
Either one.
The regular,
you could
yeah.
choose either one, and they were fantastic. But that's also like the time I was really big into mayonnaise. So there'd be occasions like, whoops. Oops. Right in the mayonnaise.
I mean, I do remember it's a topic we'll get to in a little bit, but we would sit around all day thinking, where are we going to have lunch today? And Hardee's was always at the top of that list because that was right around the time that I know it's been reinvented since then, and I kind of hated it since, but back then, the original Monster Burger they had.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I think, yeah.
I would just sit there and drool all morning
Basically,
knowing we're going there.
Meat, cheese, more meat being bacon, and mayonnaise specifically.
Yep, it was. And a little bit of ketchup, I think, was on there, too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness.
And so a top bun of a Hardee's bun, you'd one swipe of the mayonnaise, you'd spiral ketchup, and you'd put a Z of mustard.
It reminds me, at least my memory serves, it reminds me a little bit of like Jack in the Box's Ultimate Cheeseburger. A little bit.
Oh, okay.
It does, yeah.
But I can't quite put my finger on it. What's missing?
Fantastic.
This is when my love for cheeseburgers was elevated, because their classic 1/3 pound cheeseburger was, like a normal cheeseburger, burger and cheese, and then real cut onions versus the rehydrated.
Dehydrated, rehydrated, whatever.
At McDonald's.
Came out of a dry bag.
Yep.
Stuck it in the container with water to rehydrate them.
So these were fresh cut in the morning. Sprinkled those on top. I think. Well, you know what? Mayonnaise, not sure, but definitely ketchup, mustard. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Might have to go to Hardee's this week.
Justin, do you remember when Hardee's had their ultimate bacon cheeseburger? It was it was not a round bun. It was more of an oblong bun.
It's not ringing a bell.
Yeah, because this probably came out in like 93.
So was this when they still had the fried chicken and whatnot?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. They had that for.
Yeah, the fried chicken was actually pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
From memory,
Yep.
it was fantastic.
Yeah, because I mean, there was something like when I first got introduced to Hardee's, it was just they changed and from what it was, and something about it, I really liked how Hardee's was. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I liked what Hardee's had became. Something about the way Hardee's was. Like, oh,
Whenever they
God,
started
so
doing all
good.
that thick burger stuff,
Yeah.
and they totally reinvented themselves, like they kind of lost me.
Yeah.
Oh, I get that because they're again.
Because that's when they lost the fried chicken,
Yep.
and
They definitely reinvented themselves. They slimmed the menu down
Yep.
completely.
A lot, yeah.
Now, since then, they've opened Red Burrito, and the menu's as gigantic as it ever was in most locations here in the Midwest. I know in the coast, you'll see like Carl's Jr.
yeah.
I don't know if they still call it Red Burrito or if it's even attached to those.
I think it is, but I'm
not
not
sure.
entirely sure. Cause
I mean, they're essentially the same thing. Let's be
is,
real.
yeah.
The same places they buy from things, same concept.
distributors and all.
Right. Now, I don't know if you guys had favorite like menu items or
Frisco burger.
because you learned.
oh yeah, that was.
That was
Yeah.
always my go-to. The
Oh,
sourdough
anywhere,
bread.
If it has a Frisco burger on the menu, I'm
That's what
probably
I'm
going to
getting.
try it.
Yep.
Yep. That's sourdough.
At McDonald's, learning what was made of what and how they're made, you quickly learn what you like and don't like. Now, a lot of people really like the, I forget what you call them, the I guess quarter pounders or whatever.
Quarter pounder with cheese, yeah. Number 3.
Never been a big fan of those.
Oh, so
I always like their 1/10 patty, the really thin ones,
Oh, I
yeah,
love-
the normal
yeah.
cheeseburger.
because they start raw out of the freezer and you put them on the grill and you put the little presser down and the timer goes off.
Are you
and
talking McDonald's? Or?
Yeah, McDonald's.
Oh, ours were frozen.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They were frozen, but they were raw. And so you'd put it down, you'd press it down, and as that thing came up, you'd
Yeah,
hit it with seasoning.
The clamshell.
Oh, man. I still love those
Oh,
today.
yeah. Yeah, you could just take one of the patties, put it on a little grab a piece of cheese, and eat it like a little taco kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do that too. And I'd end up going in the back in the cooler and just grab apple juice and slam it and be done.
Well, and one of my favorite transitions was from breakfast to lunch because we'd have a lot of breakfast stuff left.
yeah.
And that's when I started to understand everyone's love for the steak, egg, and cheese bagel. It's not served everywhere, which I realized going on vacation.
We didn't have that when I worked there.
It is absolutely my go-to. I don't care what it's made of. I just know that the bagel sauce goes on it, and it's delicious. Stark contrast from Hardee's.
Yeah, I opted to not work many breakfast shifts when
I didn't
was
have
at
a choice.
McDonald's. Yeah. I also briefly worked at a grocery store during my high school time.
Which grocery store?
In St. Louis, it was called National Supermarkets.
Oh my God, I remember
Which became
National.
Schnucks,
Right, because Schnucks bought them out, and
because we had one of those in Festus.
So we used to have a National, obviously in Waterloo, Illinois,
right.
and then they got bought out by Schnucks.
Yep. So that was in like it was after obviously after I'd worked there, and I didn't stay at Schnucks or at National long. It probably would have been nice to have because you're a nice indoor job. But the time that you had to go outdoor was to get carts, and I had started working there like September, October. It was starting to get cold. I'm like, nope. And that was also as I was working as a bagger. Pull the cart through from people checking out, and I should have known this from the time that I would sit on the bottom of a cart as my mom would kind of push us around going through Schnucks and stuff when I was a kid. And I even cut my finger on the cart because I stuck it down being stupid and
In the wheel and whatnot.
got a cut on
Yep.
there.
Did that a few times.
Went to pull a cart through, a little resistance, pull a little harder. All of a sudden, kid started screaming. I'm like, ooh. Got his finger in the wheel or something like that.
Well, he won't do that again.
Yeah, so I ended up just quitting there because I didn't want to go deal with the cart situation.
Trauma was too intense.
Yeah, my mom and dad also for a period of time started when it was in 91 or 92, Department of Revenue, so like driver's license plate, Department of Revenue License Bureau. Worked there for a couple years.
Wow.
So it was McDonald's, worked for them, went to National, then worked for them, and went back to McDonald's. That was my high school
Mine
work career.
was Hardee's, McDonald's, quitting McDonald's on the morning of a very busy day, working for my buddy's dad hanging drywall, which was a much tougher job,
Yeah.
but much more lucrative.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot more money to be made in that.
And then I worked at an automotive collision repair shop in my neighborhood because I got in a wreck with my truck. Now, it wasn't my fault because it was the kid who was, we'll say, inebriated from certain leafy substances and sandwiched me between my buddy's car and his car. So not quite totaled my truck, but pretty close. My first car was Chevy S10, 4.3 liters, so it had the Vortec, so it was a little quicker.
Yeah, a
little more of a gas guzzler too.
Right.
But my truck went to his shop, and he liked the work that I did so much that he kind of like let me work on my truck a little bit and do a little bit more to it. And we ended up repainting the whole thing and customizing it a little bit, which was fun. And that's pretty much cemented like where I was headed career-wise for a little while. Mm-hmm. And then just after that, I started at, George Weber Chevrolet.
Okay.
So that's a pretty familiar name here in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember my last day at McDonald's. One of my coworkers, who was also in my grade with me, he wasn't working that day, and it was after school or whatever, because I was only doing a half day my senior year. So I would just go to work after that, and then I was talking to him about something from still behind the grill, because I was not a counter person and stuff, and I don't even remember what I said, but my store manager, she came out and she's like, "You might want to go home today." I'm like, okay. And I don't remember what it was that I said. I don't remember. I know I was giving him trouble about something, just joking around with him. But yeah, mouth got me in trouble on that one. So it's not like we were really even busy at the time. So whatever. Sorry, Shannon. Whatever.
I'm seeing a pattern.
Yeah. And then it was funny because, so many years later, again, at Crestwood Mall, there was a McDonald's in the food court area. Mm-hmm. And I ran into one of my first managers. Her name was Chris. I ran into her she was working at that one. So we kind of connected for a little while, just chit-chatted for a few minutes. It's kind of nice to see her. I always liked her. She was a fun manager to work for.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like, you think back on the managers you did have, and whether or not you felt they did a decent job. And like, I definitely had the few that you know, they were either always late or they had some other things going on in life. And it's like, Jesus, can you just get to work on time? Can you just do this one thing? And then you have the ones that were very punctual, very fun to work with. And it didn't seem like they had an issue at all, really. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely had a wide variety. We
Yeah.
had the one who played favorites, and if you were not one of the favorites, was a huge bitch to you. And then there was the one who was the cool one, who was, as long as you did what you were supposed to do, she would be as cool as can be to you. And then there was the owner's son, who, that's probably all I need to say about that. If you have a stereotypical owner's son, he'd be in there. And then there was the other guy who, he was fun to work for only because he had no business being a manager. He was one of those guys who he just had too much fun. So whenever he became a manager, he didn't know how to be a manager. So he would kind of let everyone do anything. So that, I mean, those were fun nights because it's like, oh, I don't have to try tonight. he doesn't care.
So I know the reason behind our jobs was mostly for our cars. I briefly mentioned my Chevy S10. Now, Justin, I know what yours is, but why don't you tell the listeners what you had?
My first car was a 66 Mustang Fastback.
Which I'll say, as a kid at my age, I would have been super jealous about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However,
It looked nice. It sounded nice, but it seemed every other week something was broken on it. I mean, I remember. Well, I think that car was cursed from the beginning. You hear those, like that old stories with boats, like if you rename a boat without christening them, like it's bad luck for the boat. Well, this car, according to the title, was a candy apple red convertible, but it was a diamond white fastback. So clearly it was some sort of a chop job or a stolen car or something along those lines. So I had it for about 3, 4, 5 months before I could even drive it legally because I had to get it retitled. And that's just where it started. I mean, a month later, I was coming home from the restaurant and my horn and turn signal shorted out and I got electrical smoke coming out of the steering column. And I mean, it's just one thing after the other. I mean, a lot of things on it that just should have been fixed to begin with weren't. And I mean,
where did you guys pick that car up at?
my dad got it somewhere in California because he thought it was, well, that's where he lived. And he thought it was very valuable and rare because it says it's this, but it's actually this. And it's no, that anyone who knows anything about Mustangs, they have to be original.
To be valuable.
To be
more than
valuable.
anything, yeah.
The only reason to have a car like this is because you're going to make it into a race car, or you're going to junk it, or you're going to
Use
do
it
all
for
kinds
parts.
of custom stuff.
Right.
Like you cannot keep anything of this original because it's
not.
It's been bastardized already.
Yep.
So yeah, I had that thing into, I think, my freshman year of college, and I probably drove it half of the time I had it. Because it seemed, I mean, it was a money pit, and all my money that I was earning was going to fix it. I mean, it was, whenever you are 17, 18, and a good night for you at the restaurant is getting about $50, $60 of cash, and you're not working every night, and then you get slapped with $1,000 bill to replace the fuel system, that's a little much.
Yeah, it's a little disheartening.
So that's how I learned to be frugal and save for a rainy day, because
You were just
That
waiting.
car.
Yeah.
I was just waiting for the next thing to break.
I drove a 1987 Dodge Dakota. Just regular cab, long bed. Yeah.
Good times.
Now, what was that, a V6 or V8?
It was a 6.
Wonder what motor that was.
It was just like a 3 something.
Yeah, I
It
can't.
was very weak.
I can tell you mine was a 289.
And I remember one time, and this is the only time that this has ever happened to me, where I locked my keys in my car.
Oh.
I had a keychain. It was sitting on the seat. I could look at it right inside the window. Shit happens, and you're living proof. I'm like, Luckily, when I was out there, realized that I locked my keys in my car. My parents were making a turn coming from what is called House Springs onto Highway 30, and they saw me down the little hill where I was at McDonald's. I'm like, and they were able to pull in, and it was just complete and utter luck, and they had a spare with it.
Wow.
Like, wow, lucky me. So I didn't have to deal with having Burns Mill police come out to unlock it or go through all that nonsense. I was like, whew.
So I have a similar, slightly unlucky story. This was getting close to me having my truck for a year. Didn't have an accident. Didn't have any tickets. Was being a good kid, and kind of like a snow/ice storm came through, and of course Chevy S10. It basically. It was very light truck, with a decent amount of power. Mm-hmm. So it would the back would sit and spin, and it would basically become a one-wheel drive kind of truck because it didn't have what they call posi traction, where the two gears in the back lock up, and both wheels will spin instead of just the one.
Mm-hmm. So you had a pegger.
Yeah,
Me too.
So that being said, me and my buddy go hanging out at this girl's house. And we're on the back roads, and on the way back, I kind of goose a little bit and lose traction, and I'm like da 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 da, doing a normal thing, and then there becomes a point where I went a little too far, and I start going down this ditch, and I hit a tree. Airbags didn't go off miraculously.
Yeah, never. None of the accidents I've ever been in have my airbags gone off.
Same, actually.
Weird.
Yeah, and I mean where the sensor was. And where the rail had bent around, I mean, we're talking millimeters before it hit the sensor and would have went off. So hood's dented in, fans rubbing against the radiator.
Yep.
Turn it off. Call my dad. Hey, this happened. All right, he comes and gets me. He brings the Jeep. He tries to tow me out. Yeah. It's not working. Lo and behold, there's this big old truck, just you would what you would think, and you're like, oh, that's definitely a truck that belongs on a farm. Big F-350 diesel truck with dualies comes rolling through. He's like, oh, you guys stuck? Here, I'll hook you up and we'll pull you out. Sure enough, wraps it around the bumper and just pulls it out like a child out of a pool.
Yep.
And then that whole weekend, because it was a Thursday or a Friday, we went and we got new parts and put it all back again, kind of cementing my role where I was going to head. Right. But we yanked everything out and put everything back in, all through a weekend. Wow. Lots of hours of work.
Yep. Kind of earned that one.
Yeah. So I drove around with a red truck with a black hood for quite some time.
So you're one of those.
Yeah.
But in a lot of ways,
it works.
Right.
In a lot of ways, because it was just the hood, it kind of worked because
it looked
was
fine.
Yeah, it
not
it
like a front quarter panel or something. Fender.
Yeah, exactly. So
a yellow car with a fuchsia looking
door.
Yeah. So oddly enough, it kind of worked out, and I thought it looked cool.
It looked
but
fine.
then after I got the truck repainted, I'm like, oh man, what was I thinking? This is way better.
Yeah.
The little things.
Yeah, my parents had also bought a 92 Dodge Shadow ES that I got to drive a lot.
The old Dodge Shadow.
Yeah, which kind of eventually became my car in 93-ish.
What color was your Shadow?
It was red.
Red.
Yeah.
That's the only color I remember.
Mine was beige.
Oh.
See, I drove my grandma's beige Shadow when my Mustang wasn't working. So I drove a beige with beige interior.
Yeah.
It was an 88 Shadow. Top speed of 85.
Sounds about right, yeah. Oh, yeah.
downhill on a windy day.
I got up to 87, and I know that because I got a ticket for going 87.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first time that I took that car out, the day that I'd got my driver's license, so this would be the first time I drove anywhere by myself. Drove out, picked up my friend, thought, let's just run into town, go grab some Sonic and stuff like that, and then we'll come back. Just, hey, driver's license, freedom.
Yep.
Was messing with something on the radio and just kind of and off on kind of like on the shoulder, and you could hear all the rocks and stuff coming up under. And I was like, Jesus! I figured something was screwed up, but no. Luckily, it was fine. Yeah.
Well, I had something fall out of my Mustang once. It's, the two best stories of that car is the time when something fall out, and the other time was whenever I finally got rid of it. But that's after high school, so we won't go into that.
Right. Yeah.
No, I was down in Perryville, and something fell out of it, and I couldn't figure out what it was. So as I'm driving back, my steering wheel was 90 degrees to the left, and that was straight.
Ooh.
And then it popped, and then suddenly straight was straight again. And okay, this is weird. And every time I went around to turn to the left, that would happen, where 90 degrees was straight, and then it'd pop and it'd be straight again. So I drove it. I mean, I drove from Perryville to Festus like that. So that, it's about 45 miles or so.
If not a little more than that.
Maybe a little more. And then the next day I took it into the shop, and I said, I don't know. It's doing something funny again. And if they were publicly held, I would have increased their stock because I was in there every other week. And they came out and they scolded me for not coming in sooner or not driving it as much as I had in between because the bushing on my sway bar had fallen off and there was nothing connecting my sway bar to the actual car. So if it would have fallen out completely and not gone back in the hole, like that's what the pop was, there's a good chance that I probably could have had
Bad accident.
assembly going through my fender and who knows what else. So I got a very stern talking to. Oddly enough, it was like a $10 fix. All I did is just get the bushings and put it on.
Right.
But yeah, that was partially luck and bad luck all wrapped into one. I have lots more stories like that in that car.
Wow.
But it looked good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a thing. Now, remember like things like first dates and stuff like that? Like maybe where you may have went or who you went with?
It was always to the movies. And then from the movies, you just walk across Route 3, which is one of the main roads. Not nearly as busy as it used to be when I grew up. Because it used to be Route 3 was the only road through Waterloo. Then they did the bypass, and Route 3 became very less busy.
Right.
So we would go to the movies before we had the car, walk over to McDonald's, get some McDonald's, and then somebody would pick us up and take us home. So it was probably some combination of something like that. Now, like an actual going out, man, I don't think I can remember like actually going out with any of my high school girlfriends at the time. Like to a place and like, oh, we're going out to eat because we're fancy, blah, 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 whatever. Yeah, doesn't ring a bell at all.
Justin?
Mine's a little different, and this is a topic we're going to get to shortly. But my first girlfriend I actually met online through AOL Instant Messenger. And I chatted with a lot of people on there. A lot of people. I was way more social online then than I am now. But we actually met through there. I don't even remember how. And we didn't really have like a first date specifically. The first time I actually saw her in person was I was on my way to something with people from my class, and I happened to stop over at one of her friends' houses that she was hanging out at, and we hung out and talked for a little bit, and I was extremely nervous, and I kind of came across a bit of like a dick, if I remember correctly. Not a good first impression on my end is my memory. But for some reason, she gave me a second chance. And that second chance, which I guess if you want to say is the first actual date, even though I don't know if that's true or not, her mom was really big into horses. And so they would go to horse shows, and she raised horses. And so they were going to a horse show, and they're like, you should come with us. I'm like, okay. So I went with her and her family to a horse show event, and we just kind of hung out and talked on our own out away from the horses.
Right.
And that's like the first time we actually hung out for any amount of time. Most of our hanging out was around her family. She was like, I think 2 years younger than me. And I'm like, she wasn't old enough to drive quite yet. And I was the senior in high school. They were they didn't like me.
No, you're a bad boy.
Oh, I should put it this way. Her parents were divorced. Her dad and stepmom did not like me. Her mom and stepdad they dealt with me, but
Tolerated you?
they tolerated me, but whatever.
I constantly had really good relationships with my girlfriend's parents, no matter which girlfriend or whatever. Minus one, and that could be because of her dad's upbringing, possibly, but he hated me. Absolutely hated me.
Wow.
I was too young to be dating his daughter, even though we were both in high school, kind of thing. It was very overprotective, kind of whatever. So that relationship didn't last very long.
Right.
She's a very, very brilliant girl. She's, I kind of keep in touch via social media still. And everything seems to have, worked
Turned
out
out all right.
and turned out all right. So good on that. But other than that, all the other moms and dads pretty much really liked me.
Yeah.
Like either thought I was an improvement to what they were doing, or thought I was at least a decent person. So
I will say that's the irony of the situation was the mom tolerated me, then kind of liked me, and then after it ended, she flipped 180 and hated me for some reason, even though I wasn't the one who ended it. But then, oddly enough, the dad and stepmom, who had hated me with a passion, actually turned around by that point. I'm like, oh, he's actually a nice kid, and we like him more than who she turned to. And I remember the last time that I actually saw any of them in person, I went to one of her basketball games, and I was sitting there, oddly enough, joined by her dad, who she didn't even like. And we sat down and we had like this really cool conversation during the game, and I'm like, I actually really like him, and he seems to really like me. What irony. I'm never going to see him again.
Why couldn't have been like this before?
Right. It would have made things so much easier.
Yeah. No, I'd asked this one girl, I guess probably in sophomore years in our drawing class, and her name was Stephanie Monica, and she was a grade above me. So asked her out, and we went to see Wayne's World in theaters.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's like every time I think of Wayne's World or hear some of the songs on that, I think of her. Just
That'll do it.
Sharing that moment, seeing that movie together.
party on Wayne.
That's right. Party on
Swing.
Earth. Exactly. Yeah. And then there was another guy that was the same age as her, but he had a sister that was a year younger than me. I don't remember what movie we went and seen, but so like Brad mentioned, most dates kind of were movies and stuff like that, or you go hang out at the mall with your friends, and seen Tombstone 2 or 3 times in theaters in '93 when it came out. Hanging out at the Exhilarama Arcade. Again, this is all at the Crestwood Mall, which is non-existent anymore.
Literally.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just a dead mall. It's the building is gone.
Yeah, the light posts and stuff are still there on some of them.
Some of them, yeah.
And what was a parking lot now, it's just like filled dirt. It's weird.
It is really strange.
I mean, I drive by it most days of the week, and it just still's weird.
Yeah, it's like so many good memories at that mall.
I remember, especially at the end of the year, I mean, that was one of the malls to go to, so the traffic down Watson was just bonkers.
Yep. La la la. Brandon,
Oh, yeah.
What's this about?
Okay, so Brandon was a year younger than me, and he was an idiot. Like I cannot put it any other way. He was one of those kids that, and we all know someone like this. He was the dumb one who would do stupid stuff, but he wasn't smart enough to come up with the thing. So I was generally the one who came up with the stupid idea and would say like, "Hey, it'd be funny if someone would just do this."
And he would
He
do
was
it.
the idiot who would probably do it. So we would just try to see what stupid stuff he would do. And he was kind of dumb because he would do a lot of dumb stuff on his own too. But so one time we had to carry books into the book room. We didn't know there was a book room until that day. It was just this door in the corner of the lunchroom. We never knew where it went. We came up with our own theories. Where does this door lead to? Maybe it's our dungeon.
Yeah.
Well, it actually goes upstairs to this tiny ass little room, and that's where they kept all their books. And we had to one day be in charge of carrying books up there. So we do that, and he was one of the ones in our group, and there's one window up in that room that looked out over the roof of like the elementary side. And we look out the window and, wow, never looked out that window before. It'd be kind of funny if someone climbed out through the window and went on the roof. Yeah, I'm going to do it.
How many people were with you at the time? Just you and him?
Oh, there were probably 4 or 5 of us.
Oh, okay. A
I
lot of
don't
books.
remember who else, but I remember there was a small group. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to do it. So we opened up the window and he crawled out and he's walking around. He's like, this is great, guys. You should come out too. We're like, yeah, we're going back to class. And we just closed it and locked it and went back to class. And the teacher's like, where's Brandon at? I don't know. Maybe he went to the restroom. I don't know. About 10 minutes later, he comes strolling in. Somehow he, I guess, climbed down onto one of the school vans and then climbed off that. And finally made his way back in. And he just looked at us and said, I hate you guys so much. And we're like, did you enjoy your excursion up there?
Your visit?
Yeah.
How was the view?
He said, actually, it is kind of cool up there. Like, he wasn't even mad about it.
Yeah. That's funny.
Every time I think of that kid, that's always what comes to mind.
So whenever I was finished with high school, the internet, probably was a thing, but it wasn't at my school or anything. So I didn't really get exposure to that until 1995. But apparently when you guys were in school, the internet was kind of a thing.
Quite a bit.
And someone went to a certain website.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we had one computer lab, and only one computer in the lab was connected to the internet. All the rest of them weren't.
Wow.
They were all on a network to the same printer, but they weren't connected to the internet. In fact, I can even tell you, it was a dot matrix printer.
Of course.
Of course. And that, we called it the big computer because it was, it was the one that it was for the teachers' use. But we, when I was a senior, we got to delve into a little bit of front page. And because there's only one computer on the internet, there's only one person that can do front page at a time. So we were trusted, a few of us, to take the front page section and do it on our own in the computer lab by ourselves.
And when you say front page, meant for the school?
No, the program front page.
Oh, okay.
As in I guess because it was a Microsoft front page. I'm guessing it was. I'm trying to think of a program today that I'm blanking on. Essentially,
Publisher?
it creates websites.
Oh.
Okay.
Is what you'd write it in Notepad, and then you'd put it in front page, and it would display it on the internet or whatever. But it's long since
Changed.
unnecessary. But there was one kid who's 2 years younger than me named Daniel, who, like I said, we were in there by ourselves, unsupervised, and he was trusted also, as a few of us were, and we're in there. He's doing our work one at a time. Well, he's in there by himself, and we're following along like instructions and put this in, do this, do this. Well, he accidentally typed in whitehouse.com instead of whitehouse.gov, which
Simple
doesn't
mistake.
sound like a big deal.
No, sounds like a simple mistake.
I don't know now. I haven't looked for a very long time. But back then, this was 2001, 2002. Back then, whitehouse.com was a porn site. And Daniel's, to put it mildly, very conservative religious type. Blew his mind with guilt. You'd thought that he murdered somebody. And I mean, we couldn't stop laughing about it for months.
No.
And the teacher, who, I mean, he's the strictest teacher in the school who ran the computer lab. He was understanding it was an accident, but he was like kind of still coming down on him, like, you need to be a little more careful. And of course, it was as he was checking in on him. So it wasn't like Daniel could be like, oh, delete, close. Like, oops, my bad. No, the teacher was in there and saw it and was like, what are you doing? Yeah. So we were very careful to follow every keystroke as said in the book. Mm-hmm. Because...
And not assume everything was .com?
Yes. That was where we learned very quickly that .com, .org, .net, .gov, .whatever else is very important.
Mm-hmm.
It's not all the same thing.
No. Yeah, I think that website still does lead to adult material, according to one of the local St. Louis afternoon drive time radio shows.
Oh, good.
They referenced that.
Oh, good. I'm glad Daniel wasn't the only one to make this
Yeah.
discovery.
Interesting. Yeah. And since, I mean, you grew up in the area that I now live in and also visited in the couple years right after me and my friends graduated. So we would come down to what is Festus in Crystal City and quote unquote cruise Main Street.
Oh, yeah.
If you were not going up to
Limburg. Yeah.
Aha.
Yeah.
You were
That
coming-
was like the big
Even we
cruising spot.
came across the river to cruise Limburg.
Yeah, Lindbergh was more of the racing on
Yes.
Lindbergh.
Yep.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we would go down to either or place, but referring to Festus.
One time we went down to Park Hills.
We did that as well one time.
That was pretty intense.
That was we were way out of our element.
Oh, yeah. We thought we were all pros. Like, oh, we're bored with this Festus scene. We went down to Park Hills and we thought, oh, we are strangers in a new land here.
Yeah, and it's a whole, you go to another school's community and you're definitely outsiders.
Oh, yeah.
Bad things can happen.
So, speaking of cruising Lindbergh, I don't know if this was a thing for you guys, but we would hang out at the Home Depot area, and that's where everybody would park their cars and chit-chat most of the night.
Now, like where Hooters and all that stuff is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So when I was going through school, they started to crack down on that a little more.
Yep.
Well, there was this one night that we were planning on going, and we didn't, and we heard about it the next day. And essentially, for those people who were told multiple times, you can't be loitering on the lot, the cop would flip a coin as to who was getting the ticket. So they lined everyone up and flip a coin. Oh, you get a ticket. Oh, you don't. You get a ticket. You don't. Yeah.
I
So
do remember when
we
St. Louis
thankfully-
County was cracking hard on that stuff.
We escaped that probably by the skin of our teeth, but we missed that
By the
night.
flip of a coin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely, I mean, I just don't know of any communities off the top of my head where that even happens now.
I was saying, because whenever we did it my entire high school, and even into college, and oh yeah, down Main Street in Festus.
It was just bumper to bumper.
Oh, it was bumper to bumper, stopped
Yeah.
all the way, and then there'd be groups of people in
Yep.
this parking lot, that parking lot. Back then,
Yep, over there by where McDonald's used to be, which is now where PetSmart is.
and Walgreens was on the corner for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we hung out in that parking lot a lot.
Yep.
Well, we knew someone that worked
And
at
now,
the Walgreens.
and now where the library is,
Yeah.
that was a big
Yeah.
stopping spot. Magic
didn't it-
Market.
Didn't that used to be a Save-A-Lot?
Yep, or an
Yeah.
Aldi's or something.
Yeah, we were in that lot
Yeah.
many a time. And oh yeah, we have lots of tales
Mm-hmm.
from that little area. Probably my least prestigious one was whenever we decided to run down the main street while it was bumper to bumper stopped. Not quite streaking, but not entirely clothed.
So you like the guy from the hotel,
Not far
only
off.
without an oxygen mask,
Not far off.
oxygen
Yeah.
tank.
There were two of us. The other dude had a Scream mask and a pair of tidy whities, and I had a pair of long johns and a black cape and a skull mask. No shirts, and we ran down the strip, and no one can go anywhere. Everyone's just sitting in their cars. And once everyone started seeing us, the yells, the hoot and hollers, the honking started going, and you could just hear it going all the way
Right.
down.
Right, because it would echo through there.
Oh yeah, it would echo, and just the line of people noticing it. It just like a wave. Mm-hmm. And we already had this planned out. We were going to be dropped off at one end. They were going to pick us up at the other end. And so we did. But who picked us up wasn't the car with our clothes in it. So we got to ride around like that for 20 minutes before we finally met up with that car. Yeah, we had some fun down that strip.
So speaking of streakers,
Uh-oh.
I remember in high school, not by me,
Oh.
but there was a gentleman that would wait for a packed house at whether that was a basketball game, maybe a football game even, and he would wait for the moment when no one would even expect it, and he would run full nude, but he'd have like a gorilla mask on one time, or another time he'd have a Scream mask on, and it'd be a different mask at different times. But he'd run from one end to the other, and he'd either hop over a fence or hop in a car, and he'd book it out of there
At a school function?
at a school function.
Ooh, boy. That puts you on a list now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably put you on a list back then.
Luckily, he was probably he was a student because he was cousins with the girl I was dating. So I knew who it was the whole time. I never knew when he was,
Gonna do it.
do that.
Right.
But I knew who it was.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's something.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were the days.
Apparently.
The whole cruising, and they started shutting it down. At
I
a
thought
certain
you were talking
time.
about the streaking.
No.
Yeah, they would put up the little barricade.
Yeah, like the
There
horses.
at Main and Mill intersection.
Yeah, they put up, and first it would be like at a certain time, like 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock or something, and then it would move to 9 o'clock, then 8 o'clock,
Then it was just totally all shut down.
and then it was just at a certain point they just shut it all down. And if you were driving down the street for any reason,
You were probably going to
you're
get
probably
stopped.
going to get stopped. Yeah, like you could have been parked on Main Street and you were just leaving. You might have gotten stopped because they thought, "Oh, you're trying to cruise." I mean, it's a 60-year-old lady going home from work. Do you think she's really trying to cruise?
Right. Or if you happen to be coming in from one way and you make a left to go around that barrier so you can go to wherever you needed to get to.
Yep. Oh yeah, yeah. They had that area staked out.
Yeah.
So in regards to freedom and cruising, oddly enough, on the weekends, instead of hanging out with lots of friends, I would drive back to like the hometown I was born in versus where I was living, where my grandma and my mom lived at the time. And typically I'd go to my grandma's house almost every weekend at that point. And I'd spend the night there, and my cousins would come over, and we'd either play card games or video games. And the next morning I'd wake up, I'd go do the Hardee's thing, and then I'd go back there, that night, and we'd more video games, more card games, and the like. And it's just funny how more kids my age were doing a lot of the friends hanging out, girlfriend, whatever, and I was doing more of like kind of hanging out at my grandparents' house, hanging out with my cousins, being a little more introverted, I guess.
Keeping you out of trouble.
Also that.
Yeah. It helps keep you out of trouble.
What? Just kind of curious. What time was your
Curfew?
Yeah.
Well, see, back to the whole rebellion thing. I believe it was before midnight, and there were many a times when that never happened. And if I'd come home and I know it was after the time, I would not wake my dad up. I'd just, because he'd wait in the chair for me and he'd fall asleep, and I'd just go downstairs and go to sleep. And the next morning I'd hear about it, like, why didn't you wake me up? And I'd be like, yeah, I did, but you didn't. You just fell right back asleep. Because there were times he would. So I kind of played that to my advantage a little bit. Needless to say, I created my own curfew because I knew I wasn't doing stupid trouble things. I'm just being a kid.
I did some stupid trouble things I don't know if I want to go into. Yeah, I was in a bad crowd because one of our friends in our little group of friends got killed in a car accident because he just worked crazy hours, and he dropped one of our coworkers back off, and then because they had the truck that morning for McDonald's, then he was going back to work to do his shift, but yet he hadn't been asleep the night before, so he fell asleep and hit a bluff or whatever and died. So he was one of the few of us that actually had his license, had a car. So kind of like after that happened, me and his slightly younger sister started going out. And then I also, like, I don't know if subconsciously became the de facto guy with the car. So, hey, I'll just drive. Let's go do, whatever kind of stuff. So, yeah, we did some rough things. Let's just say there was some probation involved.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like legit bad things.
Yeah, that was senior year stuff. Yeah.
So because we were so into cars and modifying them and the like, me and my buddy would always be like back and forth. Oh, mine's faster. And there was another group of kids which we didn't know as well, but they started to kind of get into it about the same time we did. And, I'd ride around with my buddy pretty often because, well, his was a lot more fuel efficient. He had a nicer car. Head to his parents' house. His mom would always fix us a big meal. He had a pool, the like, I may or may not have mentioned him to you guys before. I'm going to keep that where it is. But so one night we decided we're going to settle this with the newer group and like, well, his car is faster. It's newer. It's everything. What are you thinking? He's like, yeah, but they're the same engine and mine's lighter. I'm like, no, it's not. So of course he's like, well, we should go to this back road. And I'm like, I don't know that back road he's talking about. So I don't think this is a good idea. And my buddy, he's like, oh, it'll be fine. We'll just go there. We'll do it once and then we'll leave. I'm like, all right. So we go out there and, we get ready and he races them. And they go down there and he smokes him. It's like, see, I told you. Done, one and done. I get back in his car. And then all of a sudden you see like these lights off in the distance. And they weren't police lights, but they were just normal lights. And they come zooming across a field at us, like multiple lights. And we're like, what's going on? And like there's these big farm boys that get off their ATVs and they're like, what the heck are you, obviously more colorful language, are you guys doing out here? You're going to get somebody killed. We're going to call the police. And my buddy, who has a big mouth, but also really good at talking people off the ledge, somehow got them not to call the police. And we left and went home unscathed, and no one ever heard about it. but we never went back to that road ever for any reason. But yeah,
I don't blame
it was
you.
pretty. And the whole time they're both talking to the people on ATVs. I am sitting in the car like, don't look at my face. I don't know you. I don't see you. I'm sitting in the car and I'm staying
invisible.
here until we're leaving because I am not getting in trouble for this.
Jeez, yeah.
But yeah, kids do dumb things in cars.
Yeah, we definitely do. Yeah, we definitely do. Justin, you probably know Highway BB between Cedar Hill and Hillsboro, right?
It's been quite a while since I've been there, but yeah,
Very curvy road,
it's
right?
very curvy. Yeah.
Heading back towards Cedar Hill from Hillsboro. This is, again, a crazy time. Set cruise control at 60. And rode that all the way back. That was even before they straightened out some of those bad curves.
Is this the point at which we put out the disclaimer of don't do what we did?
Yes, don't.
Don't be stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely don't try that.
Yeah. I recently, we've been on that road a few times recently, me and my wife, and I always mention that to her. I'm like, how'd you like to have taken that corner at 60? She's like, you dumbass. I'm like, yep. It was me and one other friend, and just seeing what would happen.
I mean, I guess I shouldn't say anything. In that little shadow, I got up to 80 on P Highway,
Oh, yeah.
which it's straighter, but it's got some curves too.
Yeah.
And even it's just, a narrow 2-lane road, and it's not a good idea.
Yeah. No shoulders.
Same buddy. Right as we graduated high school. If he graduated with certain credentials, his parents were going to get him an actual. Well, not that his car wasn't brand new when he got it, but they were going to get him a newer car, a nicer car, blah blah blah. Again, money, right? Mm-hmm. So he ends up getting a brand new supercharged SS Cobalt,
Oh my.
manual shift and all.
Oh, jeez.
So we got that guy up to 140 on a 255 and 270. Clearly not a bright thing to do.
No. Very light car.
A very light car, very crowded highway at many times of the day. I believe this was like right into the lead of summer, middle of the day, so not quite as crowded, and maybe not quite as crowded back then, but these days it seems like that road is constantly crowded.
Yeah.
But I do specifically remember joyriding in that car frequently.
So it didn't have the little kill switch at 115 like most cars?
No. This was the SS hopped up version.
Yeah.
It topped out at like 144 or something like that. Things get quick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can
They
imagine.
go by fast and scary.
I've been at 140 twice in my life, and that's 2 times too many, and
Yep.
the stripes are no longer stripes.
Yeah.
It's basically a solid line.
Yeah, it's scary stuff. So
And
again,
straight is a lot harder at that speed than it is at any speed below it.
Yeah. That being said, kids do dumb things.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Again, don't do what we did.
No. No.
Yeah. So you created your own style with the way you dressed and acted, Brad.
Yeah, I tried to always not wear exactly what kind of like in quotations the cool kids would wear. I always like to be like the odd one out or different enough to where I didn't quite fall in line with what they were wearing. Now that was to a certain point, and eventually, I guess, just kind of went with the status quo and started wearing like in quotations nice clothes and collared shirts and stuff. Same buddy who joyriding with cars, he's sort of the one that kind of got me dressing a little nicer and presenting a little nicer and whatnot. Because at the time, I just more into lots of black for a while, and then just jeans and a white T-shirt every day, then another while, and
I'm going for the Fonzarelli.
right, yeah.
Yeah. The Fonz.
So all kinds of weird different styles here and there.
Mhm.
Not really one specific, but just whatever I had. So
Yeah, I was always just a t-shirt, t-shirt, jeans, tennis shoes kind of guy. I didn't really get into the...
did you start getting into like more expensive tennis shoes at any point, or did you just kind of these will work?
Man, I typically always had more Nike. So
I kind of got into the skater shoes a little bit, and I still am to a degree, mostly for the comfort and the padding.
yeah,
And actually durability. But I specifically remember one pair of shoes. It was Osiris, what they called D3s. They were brand new in 2001. I think the original Osiris D3s or D2s or something like that. I forget which skater it was that helped create this brand, but they were this giant chunky shoe, almost like a boot, but more looking like a skater shoe. And I thought they were like the coolest shoe out there, but they were also like $90,
yeah.
which is a lot for a shoe, especially when I was kind of more in high school. Well, I had to have them, and I eventually got them, and I wore them for quite some time until, well, ultimately they fell apart eventually, because kids tend to be rough on shoes.
Can be. I played basketball my freshman year in high school, and I ended up asking for a pair of Reebok pumps. So for my basketball shoes,
How'd those work for you?
I was a bench player, so it really didn't make much of a difference.
Because I remember
They were comfortable.
I remember Reebok pumps being like the cool new
yeah.
thing.
I mean, they were comfortable.
I never understood exactly how they work. I knew you pump up the tongue and it pump the shoe some way, but I don't know.
Right, there were little air pockets throughout that you would pump up, and it would just make a more secure, snug fit.
Now, did that deflate over time?
No, it had a release valve.
Oh.
That you could hit the little... and
Yeah, I
it-
remember like you'd
It was
pump it up, but if you held it, it would release it out.
Yeah, you pumped on the basketball.
Yeah.
And then there was a little button just to the right of it
Just right next to it.
that was the release valve.
I never had them, but
I didn't either.
I remember
I-
seeing them and playing with them in the shoe store.
Yeah, I wanted them so bad as a
Mine
kid because I
were-
thought they were the coolest thing.
White and gray. Yeah, they were comfortable.
I didn't play basketball because I'd spend more time on the ground than I would actually moving around. And
Well-
I figure I'd be doing my team a service by not joining it.
Yeah.
So I didn't
Right.
get to join such fun shoes.
The only sport I ever played was baseball, which we touched on briefly on
Yeah.
past episodes. But I did in high school play a little band, and specifically marching band, which I actually thoroughly enjoyed. The nice thing about doing that ahead of time, which is part of the reason why I joined, was I got to meet people that were in much higher grades than I were before school even started. So when I came in, I wasn't quite fresh. I was more, hey, I know that person. They're a senior this year. They can protect me. But there were a lot of good memories through band camp. Even though we were working really hard to do certain sets and do certain shows, lots of good tomfoolery, innocent, lighthearted stuff, because we're just a band and a bunch of nerds, really. But yeah, really, really enjoyed, from band camp to the actual shows to the Saturdays that took up, my normal time of going out to my grandparents and going to these shows, which was during about this time when we started really prepping hard,
Yeah,
and then
'cause you had
into
to-
fall.
Yeah, you had to do stuff for football and
Yep, every home game,
competitions
which was really just a big practice for us. And then I found out later that they stopped letting them do that for some reason, which is weird.
Yeah, it
but
is.
that teacher of that, of our band, he taught there almost 30 years, I want to say. I was in school with his children, and then he taught all three of my sisters growing up, and then my youngest sister was one of his last classes. And then they gave him a cool send-off.
Yeah.
last year or the year before. So,
Yeah, it is interesting. I never did the band thing, Justin. I know you played some instruments.
Yeah.
was it clarinet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember.
I think it was, I don't remember for sure, but I think my sophomore year might have been my last year. I don't know. I just kind of got bored with it or whatever. I don't know. My junior year, I had so much free time. I had all the easy classes and I had all this free time. And my senior year hit, and suddenly I had the hardest schedule I'd ever had up to that point, and I had so much work to do, and oh my God. I'm glad I wasn't in band that year. I wouldn't have had time for it.
Yeah, oddly enough, while I'm, certain classes had certain workloads, I remember almost never doing homework and somehow passing with just A's and B's.
I've heard that a lot from people, at least their senior year.
Oh, what was great
But
about my
not
senior
me.
year is I had this, in quotations, class, because I was so ahead of everything, called Honors Study Hall, where, now this would not happen these days. I could walk anywhere in school and have my study time. I had free reign everywhere. I had a specific, not gold, but
Like gold hall pass.
yeah, basically like a gold or a diamond hall pass, like where
Wow.
free reign to do anything, anywhere, anytime. So, I mean, more often than not, I'd go back to like the, in quotations, home base of that honor study hall and just kind of eat lunch early. And then lunch later became drinking 4 cartons of milk instead. Because I'd eat nachos first and then drink 4 cartons of milk at lunchtime. And that was my food for most of the day. Yeah.
I will say I was on Honor Society starting, I think, my sophomore year. For 2 years, I enjoyed, I'm these little peasants with their bad grades. And then I hit that senior year, and talk about a wall. And I did my darndest to stay on it. And I was kicked off Honor Society my senior year because of one class that was the hardest class I've ever had, college or otherwise. And they just called it advanced math, but it was calculus and it was trigonometry and pre-calculus.
Jeez.
And I had to take it because I didn't take physics the previous year. Had I taken physics, I wouldn't have had to have taken it. Stupid me with I'm going to have an easy schedule my junior year.
Mm-hmm.
Totally ruined that. So here I am having to take this stupid class that I passed with a C. And I was happy I passed with a C. I was happy I passed it all. That class did not make any sense at all.
Yeah.
I remember being in study hall, and the teacher for that class was running the study hall, and someone from the class would go up and ask him a question. And I'd get out my homework real quick, and I'd start listening in, because I don't want to be the dumb kid to ask this question. So I'd kind of take my notes and do my homework based off of what he was telling that kid. Yeah, that class was so hard.
I think the one that stood out to me as a difficult class was geometry.
I had a little trouble in that too.
So oddly enough, my freshman year, I had a math teacher which I did not like at all. I never got the basic concepts of, basic high school math. Did very poorly in it, almost failed it. Well, the next year the counselor's like, well, maybe we should bring you into math A and then math B. And then you'll have to take like a normal math geometry class after that. I'm like, no. I'm not going into dumb math. I'm going to power through this and we're going to get along. Luckily, I was right, because that next year, my sophomore and junior year, I had Mr. Brueggemann, one of the best math teachers I've ever had.
Yep.
And not only did I understand every single concept, but I passed those classes with A's like they were nothing. And I've been, I would say, pretty decent at math ever since, because, again, of that one teacher.
The teacher explained it where you could understand it, it clicked, and you were mentally ready for it to click.
Yeah, and we'd go through the same flow every day. There'd be an icebreaker where he'd read us a riddle, and we'd have to try to figure out. And if we did, we got an extra credit point. And it was out of a book that he used and read out of, and he'd get a new one each year. And then we'd go into notes, and he'd show us the new stuff, and then we'd practice it, and then we'd do it on the homework, and boom. I mean, the flow was perfect, and I very much am grateful that I've had some of those teachers in the past that have made those everlasting effects of understanding for those things.
Yeah, I don't really think I had any teachers that just made stuff where it just clicked for me and what I was mentally ready to accept, knowledge-wise.
And in fact, geometry, a friend of the show, Jeff, sat to my left, and Mike, from which I think, was it last episode I mentioned, sat in front of me, in which we were all really good buds. So it was cool. Not only were we real good buds, but we sat in the same, area, and anytime we'd have to team up, we'd all just circle up, and I mean, pretty much nothing we couldn't do.
I can tell you, in this class, you learned real quick whether you got it right or you got it wrong, because a lot of the course was graphing, and it's graphing parabolas and curves, and so all he had to do to grade the homework was, all right, everyone hold up your homework. So you'd hold up the graph paper, and if your curve curved in the opposite direction, you didn't do it quite right.
Yep.
And then nothing was more frightening than being called on in class, because I don't get this. So just don't look at the teacher. If you don't look at him, he probably won't call on you. So we were all just sit there and look straight down. And fortunately, I was very rarely called. There were only 5 of us in that class. Wow. And like I said, I did not get it. The first semester, I think I was okay, but the second half, I did not get it all. So that first half carried me. Oh, it was bad.
Wow.
It was bad. I once in a while think about that class and just so glad I don't have to deal with that. We would have a quiz, and the quiz would have 5 questions. It would take the entire hour to do those 5 questions, to the point where we were running out of time. So he would change it and say, all right, do 3 of the 5. The other 2 are extra credit, because it was taking too long to do. I hated that with a passion. I love the idea of advanced math things, but it's not for me.
No.
To my point of having a good teacher, I found out quickly in college that he did such a good job that I actually went into advanced math in college where I went. So I thought that was kind of cool, and understood it and passed.
Yeah.
So
kind of along those lines, I have to admit, whenever I started college, they were like, you have to take a math. And I'm like, but I'm getting an English degree. You have to take a math.
Right. You have to have a
like, okay. And he
math
said,
credit.
well, are you good at math? Do you like math? And, I'm coming out of this advanced math thing, and I'm like, I just want all math to die at this
right.
point.
Is it harder than 2 + 2?
Yeah, he said, well, I guess, he said, there's an intro, beginner, or whatever. And he said, what's the highest level of math you completed? And I said, well, it was a trigonometry and pre-calculus. He goes, oh, screw it, you're going into college algebra. I was like, oh, no.
No.
But I walked into that class, nervous, and 2 days later, I thought, all of you peasants are under my control.
Right.
I slept through that class and got an A. I guess whatever you're with these really fuzzy high concepts, whenever you're going back to formulating general equations out of word problems, this is nothing.
Yeah.
Do any other extracurricular type things you did in school?
I was part of what was it called when they put on plays and stuff?
Drama,
Yes.
theater.
Yes, part of drama club. But I was on the tech team, so we'd be responsible for the lights and the soundboards and all that stuff. So that was my other extracurricular thing I did for a little bit. I think it was before I could drive. That was the extent of me doing that stuff. Other than band. think I was just mostly into hanging out with friends, having a, bread bud quite a few times, hanging out with my cousins. Other than that, yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I was not involved in school really at all, other than play basketball my freshman year. Didn't make baseball team my sophomore year because I had mono the freshman year during tryout, so I didn't get to try out then. And didn't make the team sophomore year, so that was the end of my high school athletics because I couldn't play football because I would gag and throw up because of the stupid mouthpiece. And I learned that at a younger age. I'm like, geez, I can't play football, and I could have actually done something decent with that.
So as a peewee, when I got to play football, what I discovered the same thing where I'd gag on it because it went back so far. So what they did is they ended up like cutting the backs of the mouthpiece.
Tried that too.
Fit in my
Yeah. Still couldn't deal with it.
Dang.
It's like getting x-rays at dental. That's what I fear the most going to the dentist is the damn x-rays.
I'm so used to them. I'm like, all right, bite down. Yep. X-ray. Yep. Next.
Yeah. I mean, she will have to usually run around the corner to click the thing to take the picture. I'm gagging.
Now, let me take that a step further. Is when they take molds of your teeth with this like Play-Doh-like stuff.
So happy I haven't had to do that.
That stuff made me gag. That was rough.
No, thank you.
Nope.
The only two things I really ever did was I did 2 years of soccer, sophomore and senior. And the only reason I did it my senior year, like I said, was really busy, was because if you did 2 years of a sport, that would essentially be your credit for the PE for 1 year. So I did the soccer for the sophomore, and I don't like this coach. I don't like, because I'd grown up playing soccer at the Y. I did indoor and outdoor for years. And I can get in there, and I'm like, I think I know more about this than the coach does. And I was not thrilled with it. So my junior year, I was like, screw it. I'm done. Not going to do it. Well, then my senior year rolls around, and they're like, you're short a credit for your PE. You have to do at least basketball or soccer in order to not have PE this year.
Like,
Are you kidding me? Like, I'm sitting here looking at my schedule like, you're insane. I'm going to fit in soccer on top of all this? But I somehow had to. And, I'm working at Dohack still at the same time. So somehow I have to juggle work, practice, games, this insanely hard and long schedule, and somewhere in here, that's also whenever the first girlfriend was too. So I had literally zero time for anything.
happy senior year.
Oh, it was miserable. And then on top of that, starting either my freshman or sophomore year, I joined yearbook. Or should I say I was elected to join yearbook. I was kind of drafted. But I was like, hey, all the it was like this mysterious club that everyone always wanted to know, like, what goes behind, because they had their own separate office, and you'd see the people, but they never really talked about it, so you never really knew. It was a little like Fight Club.
Right. First rule of the yearbook club is not to talk about yearbook.
Right. I mean, that's basically what it was. So everyone was like, oh, yearbook. Like, ooh, that's prestigious. And that's wow. So I got to join this exclusive club, and it turns out it was just
not as exciting as you thought.
It's not nearly as exciting. And what ended up happening was the last 2 years I think I was on it, we didn't have really good direct supervision. I guess I did join my freshman year. The first 2 years, we had very careful, strict, you have to do this by this date, all these deadlines. The first couple months, you spent your whole time just going out selling ads in the community. So that's all we did the first couple months after school. I hated it, but you deal with it.
Right.
And then you actually get to work on the yearbook. You get to write up your articles and pick the pictures. And well, the last 2 years we did not have
Any
a sponsor watching over us, so we kind of just did whatever we wanted to when we wanted to. So there were no deadlines. There was, as long as you got the thing done, that's all they cared about. Well, summer rolls around, we're not done yet. So we go in during the summer to work on it during the day. When I said earlier, sitting around like getting all excited about getting a Monster Burger at Hardee's, that's what I'm talking about, because that's all we did in the morning was we'd sit there for 3 hours talking about where are we going to get lunch today? And that's all we talked about for 3 hours. And then we'd go get lunch, and then we'd be too full to work on anything. So we'd just sit around talking for a couple more hours.
Wow.
And we did that most of the summer. So
Happy
whenever
summer.
the following school year started, we weren't done with the previous year's yearbook. And that happened 2 years in a row. And oddly enough, they weren't adding on new people to join the yearbook staff. So, like, they tried to get, like, kind of a good mix of the entire high school, like, younger ones, older ones. That way they could kind of groom the younger ones and then pass it off.
Right.
My grade was the last grade that they hired anyone. So there was nobody. There was like, I think 2 or 3 of us by the end. And so yeah, they didn't have yearbook after I graduated.
Wow, you killed it.
We literally killed the yearbook.
Killed yearbook.
I have to admit, back then I thought that was kind of funny. Now I
Sorry,
do feel
guys.
bad.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was the thing.
Wow, that is something else.
Now that you mentioned having to get those classes for when you were doing soccer,
Oh, yeah.
I had a lot of room in my schedule for some reason. So my freshman year, I took weight training because I wanted to like bulk up a little bit, so I'm not so scrawny. And then my senior year, I took it again. And because I was in band with marching, I only had to take 1 semester of PE. And it was only because it was a mandatory, even though you're doing these other things, you have to do at least 1 semester for some kind of health, whatever. So it was, okay, that's whatever, no big deal. And it was fun, it was fine. But band saved me from a lot of that. So that's probably why I actually had more time in my schedule.
The only reason that I had to play soccer was if I wouldn't have and I would have done the PE for the 1 semester, that was my 1 hour for study hall. Every other hour was filled. So I had to have my study hall.
On top of that, band also counted as my second language. So I didn't have to take a foreign language.
What?
How does that happen? Ain't right.
It was for me. That's why I had all that extra room.
Jeez.
I don't like that.
No.
Well, in hindsight, I kind of wish I would have been able to do German. So it is what it is.
True. I wish I would have taken Spanish at the very least. It'd really come in handy.
Right?
I had 2 years of Spanish, and my first year was with a lady who's from Panama who said that half of the wordings and curriculum and everything in the book is wrong, but that's because they were teaching us Spain Spanish, not Latin American Spanish.
Aha.
So, it's slightly different.
Yep.
And then she got fired after that year. And
Imagine
so
that.
we had to get Spanish, but they couldn't hire anyone who actually could speak Spanish. So the principal taught Spanish.
Oh, good.
But by taught, I mean he had this video series and he was going to learn it with us.
Yeah, I was going to say he learned the day before what he was going to talk about the next day.
It was kind of comical.
That sounds terrifying.
It kind of was.
Jeez.
So I have a passing be able to recognize, and that's about it.
Whereas Sarah speaks like 3 languages. Obviously English, Spanish, a little bit of French.
Speaking of English.
Oh man, I speak English and bad English.
Right. No, it's about the only things that I can think of. Like I said, it was kind of a boring high school career for me.
I can tell you that,
Other than your times of apparently getting in some
Yeah.
extra
Yeah.
big trouble.
Yeah, it was, man, if I could just redo my senior year all over again.
that's
I
for
would.
the After Dark version of this podcast.
Yeah.
The nighttime films, the Fuzzy Tingle Times.
Yes.
Right.
The only thing that I can really, most of it I can just look back on and just be like, so what? It was high schools, middle schools, grade school, junior high, whatever. But the first, like, I had that first moment of, like, oh, this actually matters, like, for the future.
Consequences,
Yeah. Was I had just graduated. Everyone was having their graduation parties, like, the week after. And I remember mine was on the Sunday after we graduated. And I had a bunch of family there, some of the people from the school, and there's a whole bunch of people there. And at one point I go in the basement and it's like it just clicked. Like, oh, like this all matters.
What now?
This is important for the future. What are you going to do now? And I just kind of sat there with like this existential thing for, I don't know how long I sat, but I was down there a while, just sitting in the dark with the party going on upstairs and everyone. And I could hear people saying, where's Justin? I can't find Justin. Where's he at? And I'm sitting there in the dark going, what am I going to do with my life now?
Well, and thankfully, the shop teacher that I had in high school also worked at Rankin, which is one of the older technical colleges here at St. Louis. So naturally, I'm like, well, I'll just go there. He said it's a really good school. I'll take his word for it because he's really good at what he does. And signed up for that and didn't, give it a second thought. I was like, I know what I'm going to do. No big deal. Now, obviously, I don't do that anymore.
No.
But I could easily
Get back
into it because there's some of that stuff. I don't know. It just, once you learn it, it makes so much sense. It's hard to unlearn it. So it's a skill that I can always carry with me. Even if I don't use it for making money for personal reasons, it's great.
Yeah. Being able to do basic repairs on cars is very invaluable.
However, I have a very strong feeling in the next 10 to 20 years, I won't be able to do any of that.
Probably, yeah. Cars are not designed these days to be worked on at home.
No, it's not even that. It'll be a completely different system. Instead of internal combustion engines, we'll be talking electric, and that is the portion of the college that I failed. So, and by fail, I mean that test, not that part of college. When we got into electrical systems of cars, oddly enough, that's the part that I failed in.
Struggle at the most, and now it's one of your most passionate aspects.
Isn't that
automotive
funny
industry.
how it works?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you could go back and look at a lot of the other, like, we'll call them geniuses or whatever, whether it was Einstein or whoever else. They're the one subject that they fail in, they become passionate later and are super excel at.
Yeah.
It's weird how that works.
Yeah, it is.
Getting a little bit of rain here.
Yeah, a little rain here in St. Louis, Missouri. Interesting. So you guys have anything else that you'd like to throw in here for high school? Walk back, memory lane.
I mean, there's some good memories, but at the same time, it's also just, I'm glad we're past it. And
Yeah, lots of dumb.
a lot of things that's best left back there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you guys have any funny stories to share, always open to hear that. Just reach out to us at any number of ways, whether email, contact@backtothepastpod.com, or just shoot us a message over on Twitter or in our Facebook group. Just simply search for Back to the Past Podcast and you will find it. There's also there's a page, and then there's the group. Feel free to join the group. Invite any and all conversation as long as it's clean and on topic. So that's pretty much all I think I have for this one.
Same.
Kind of just leave these school years in the past where they belong.
Yes.
So again, that does it for this episode. Thank you so much for enjoying, hopefully, this trilogy of episodes about our school time memories. So again, share your thoughts with us and any suggestions on things you would like to hear on future upcoming episodes. We are always accepting those suggestions as well. So until next time, thank you for listening, and we will be back with you again when we get back from the past.
May I help you?
Yes. This is not the best breakfast I ever ate, and I'd like my money back.
Okay, I believe you have to fill out a form for that.
No, I'd like my money back now.
I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. You see, I have to fill out a form and, well, you ate most of it already, so...
See that sign? It says 100% guaranteed. You know what the meaning of guarantee is? Did they teach you that here?
Sir, if you just wait a minute...
Look, just put your little hand back in the cash register and give me my $2.75 back, please, Brad.
Sir, if you just give me a minute, I'll find the forms. I'll take care of everything.
I don't have a minute. You've made me late enough. I am so tired of dealing with incompetence. It says 100% guaranteed, you moron.
Mister, if you don't shut up, I'm gonna kick 100% of your ass!
Is there a problem here? Can I help you, sir?
Delta Airlines just turned 100 and is already shaping the next century of flight with the Delta Sustainable Skies Lab. Here, they're building the future of flight. Think electric air taxis and next-gen aircraft aiming to cut fuel burn significantly. And this isn't just future talk. Today, their fleet of Boeing 737s have marine-like finlets designed to reshape airflow that reduces drag. The future of travel is more sustainable, and Delta's leading the way. Learn more at delta.com/sustainability.